All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Noor and Imamat in Ismaili thought.
Okay.
And I have you here to help me unpack all this.
Sounds good.
We have two sources for this deep dive.
Okay.
We have an episode from the Iskra-e-Kribi podcast, and we also have an article from Ismaili Gnosis.
Excellent. Two great sources.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
And the podcast episode starts off right away talking about Noor,
Okay.
this divine light.
Ah.
And they contrast that with everything in our material world that's temporary,
Yeah.
and how Noor represents this eternal, unchanging essence of Allah.
That's right. And it sort of speaks to that idea that while our lives are, limited and temporary and fleeting, there's this permanent divine reality that we can actually connect to.
Yeah.
And that connection is, a very, very core principle in Ismaili belief.
Yeah, and they go on to say that this Noor manifests in the world through the Imamat, the
Right.
line of divinely appointed leaders, starting with Prophet Muhammad,
Mhm.
and that each Imam carries this Noor, guiding the community towards a deeper understanding of faith.
Now, for those who might not be familiar with Ismailism, it's important to understand that the Imams are not just seen as leaders.
Mhm.
They're seen as direct descendants of Prophet Muhammad inheriting this spiritual light.
Right.
And the term murids refers to the followers,
Okay.
those who seek guidance from the Imam.
Got it. And the podcast uses this really interesting analogy of how the Noor gets passed down,
Yeah,
one lamp lighting another.
I like that.
That's how the Noor passes from each Imam to the next,
Beautiful.
through a process called Nas. And this is divinely chosen by Allah, not decided by humans.
That analogy really captures the essence of Nas.
Yeah.
And speaking of the transfer of Noor, the podcast episode focuses on the recent passing of Mawlana Shah Karim al-Husayni,
Right.
the 49th Imam, and the transition to the current Imam Rahim Shah al-Husayni.
Yeah.
They emphasize that there's no need for grief because the Noor itself is ever present. It's both Hazir, present, and Nazir, watching over us.
So it's kind of this offering of comfort and reassurance.
Right.
While we mourn the physical passing of an Imam,
Yeah.
the light, the guidance that spiritual presence remains unbroken.
Exactly. But the podcast doesn't stop there. It emphasizes that simply acknowledging the Imam isn't enough.
Right.
They challenge us to seek a deeper understanding called marifat.
Yeah.
It's like you're moving beyond a very basic level of faith and striving for a truly profound connection with the Imam.
So it's about going beyond blind acceptance and really taking ownership of your faith
Absolutely.
and going for that deeper level of meaning. And they use this image of the Imam as Hablullah,
Yeah.
the divine rope connecting followers to Allah's Noor.
Beautiful.
So it's not just believing, it's about actively holding on to that connection.
Right. And they back that up with a verse from the Quran.
Yeah.
Surah Al-Imran 3.103.
Mm-hmm.
Hold firmly to the rope of Allah altogether and do not become divided. It really highlights the idea that unity and connection are essential for spiritual growth.
Okay, so the podcast gives us this overview of Noor and the Imam as this guiding light. But the Ismaili Gnosis article takes a slightly different approach,
Okay.
diving deeper into the concept of authority,
Okay.
specifically ulu amor, and what that means for believers.
Yeah, I think that's where things get even more interesting.
I hear.
Connecting these concepts to specific interpretations of the Quran.
All right, so the article really focuses on Quranic verses,
Right.
particularly 4.59. You familiar with that one?
Of course, it's the verse that instructs believers to obey God the Messenger and the Ulu Amar. But what's fascinating about that verse is that it uses a single command, obey,
Okay.
for all three, placing them on an equal footing in terms of deserving obedience.
Whoa, that's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
So who exactly are these ulu amar?
Well, the article doesn't leave us hanging there.
Okay.
It actually quotes Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, who clarifies that the Ulu Amar are in fact the Imams, and he even connects this verse to other verses in Surah Al-Insa,
Okay.
drawing a link to Hazrat Ibrahim and the concept of a great kingdom.
Ah, so he's referring to Quran 4.54.
Yes.
Where it says, "For we bestowed upon the house of Ibrahim the scripture and wisdom, and we bestowed on them a great kingdom."
Precisely.
What's the connection there?
So Imam Jafar al-Sadiq interprets that great kingdom as referring to the Imamat and Khilafat,
Okay.
the lineage of divinely appointed leadership.
Okay.
He essentially says, we, the Imams, are the ones who have been entrusted with this great kingdom, and we are envied for what God has bestowed upon us.
So it's not just about leadership, it's about divine inheritance.
Exactly.
This authority isn't a human construct. It's part of this larger divinely ordained lineage.
Yes.
But the article goes even further than that, right?
It does.
It explores different interpretations of what ulul amr actually means.
Yes, it brings in perspectives from several scholars,
Okay.
like Hamid al-Din Kirmani and Jafar B. Mansur al-Yaman, each offering unique insights.
Okay.
And what emerges from these interpretations is the concept of istinba,
Okay.
the esoteric interpretation or tawal of the Quran.
Wait, hold on. Let's break that down for a second.
Okay.
What exactly is tawal?
Sure.
It sounds like we're getting into some pretty deep waters here.
Yeah.
It's like saying there's the surface level meaning of the Quran, the words themselves, and then there's this deeper hidden meaning that requires special knowledge to access.
You got it. Exactly. It's about uncovering that inner wisdom and symbolism of the text.
Okay.
And the article suggests that this tawal, this esoteric interpretation, is crucial for understanding the true nature of ulul amr.
So it's not just about reading the Quran, it's about understanding it on this deeper level.
Yes.
And that's where the Imams come in, right? They hold the key to unlocking this tawal.
Precisely, the article quotes Allama Hunzai, who makes this really fascinating connection between the verse of obedience, 4.59, which we discussed earlier, and the verse of deduction, 4.8.
Right. This verse talks about referring matters to the ulul amr to gain knowledge.
Right.
And Allama Hunzai argues that this verse builds on the obedience established in 4.59.
So you can't just demand knowledge. You have to earn it through obedience and trust.
Yeah.
It's like saying if you want to access this deeper understanding, you first need to show your willingness to follow.
Right. It's a dynamic relationship where obedience is the foundation for deeper knowledge.
Okay.
And the article highlights the benefits for those who take this path.
Like what do you gain from following the Imams and seeking this tawal?
Well, the article suggests that it can lead to a much deeper understanding of the Quran.
Okay.
A closer connection with Allah, and a more fulfilling spiritual life. It's like having a guide who can illuminate the path and reveal the hidden treasures along the way.
But this whole idea of the Imams possessing this unique knowledge,
Yeah.
this tawal that regular believers don't have access to, that's a pretty bold claim, isn't it? It is, but the article provides further support by quoting Muhammad al-Bakir,
Right.
who states that he and the other Imams are the ones entrusted with this knowledge.
So they're not just leaders, they're also the keepers of this secret wisdom,
Right.
this deeper understanding of the faith.
Exactly. And the article goes even deeper, drawing a distinction between the roles of the Prophet
Okay.
and Hazrat Ali. It quotes Rashida Noor Muhammad Hunzai, who wrote a biography of Hazrat Ali, where she states that the Prophet's primary function was tenzil,
Okay.
the bringing down of the revelation,
Right.
while Hazrat Ali's primary function was tawul,
Okay.
the esoteric interpretation.
Wow. So the Prophet delivers the message.
Yeah.
And the Imams help us understand its deeper meaning.
Precisely.
It's like a two-part system working together to transmit both the literal and the spiritual dimensions of the faith.
Precisely. And Noor Muhammad Hunzai even uses this really powerful image saying that Hazrat Ali fought for the tawal of the Quran just as the Prophet fought for its tanzil.
That's a pretty striking image. It highlights the importance of both aspects of the faith.
Right.
And how the Imams play a vital role in safeguarding and transmitting this esoteric knowledge.
And it's not just about safeguarding it. It's about sharing it with those who are ready to receive it.
Right.
The article mentions that the Imams open the door to knowledge and wisdom
Okay.
to their representatives.
So it's not knowledge that's kept hidden away. It's meant to be shared and passed on.
Right. It's like a chain reaction with the Noor and knowledge flowing from the Imam to their representatives and then outwards to the community.
Yeah.
But the article is very clear that obedience is the key to unlocking that door. You can't just expect to be handed these secrets. You have to earn them through devotion, loyalty, and a sincere desire to learn.
It's like an apprenticeship. You have to prove your commitment
Yeah.
before you're initiated into this deeper understanding.
Exactly. And the benefits of embarking on this journey are immense. The article talks about how it can lead to a closer connection with Allah, a deeper understanding of the Quran, and a more fulfilling spiritual life. It's a roadmap to enlightenment with the Imams as guides,
Okay.
and the Quran as the map.
But it's not a passive journey, is it? You have to actively engage, seek knowledge, ask questions, and strive to internalize the teachings.
It's a lifetime pursuit, a constant process of learning, growing, and deepening your understanding of the faith.
And it's a journey that's open to everyone, regardless of their background or level of knowledge.
Absolutely.
The Imams are there to guide all who seek their guidance, as long as they come with a sincere heart and a willingness to learn.
It's a beautiful message of inclusivity and hope no matter where you are on your spiritual path. There's always room to grow and learn, and the Imams are there to help you every step of the way.
And let's not forget the importance of community in all of this.
Yeah.
The podcast talks about the Ismaili Jamat and how the Imam guides the community with wisdom, love, and tireless service. It's a reminder that we're not on this journey alone.
Right.
We have each other for support, encouragement, and inspiration.
Absolutely. It's like a giant support system where we can learn from each other,
Right.
share our experiences, and help each other grow.
And the emphasis on unity in both sources is striking.
Yeah.
They talk about the importance of holding firmly to the hablillah, the rope of Allah, and not becoming divided.
Right.
It's a call for solidarity,
Yeah.
for coming together as a community under the guidance of the Imam.
It's a powerful reminder that our strength lies in our unity, and that by working together, supporting each other, and following the Imam's guidance, we can overcome any challenge.
And both sources make it clear that the Noor of Imamat is a constant, unchanging presence in the world.
Yes.
It's a beacon of hope, source of guidance, and a reminder that even in times of darkness, the light will always shine through.
It's a truly inspiring message, isn't it? It gives you a sense of peace,
Yeah.
knowing that there's this eternal divine force guiding us and watching over us.
Absolutely. And it's a message that's particularly relevant today
Yeah.
in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. So what does this all mean for you?
Well,
What stands out to you from these sources? What resonates with you the most?
it seems to me that the key takeaway here is the importance of seeking knowledge, understanding, and connection.
Okay.
We're not meant to blindly follow.
Right.
We're meant to engage, question, and strive for that deeper marifat.
And remember that the Imams are there to guide us on this journey.
Yes.
They're the teachers, the interpreters, the beacons of light. All we have to do is reach out and seek their guidance.
Yeah, it's incredible how these sources paint such a vivid picture of the Imam's role, not just as a leader, but as a guide to this deeper understanding of faith.
It's a powerful concept, isn't it? This idea of the Imam as this beacon of Noor, offering guidance and illuminating the path for those seeking a closer connection with Allah. But there's one thing that really stuck with me from the article.
Okay.
This idea of the Imam as the speaking Quran. What do you make of that?
That's a really profound statement, isn't it? It suggests that the Imam embodies the essence of the Quran, not just in words, but in their very being.
So it's like the Imam isn't just interpreting the Quran. They are, in a sense, a living embodiment of its teachings.
Exactly. And this idea ties back to the concept of tawul.
Right.
The Imam, through their unique knowledge and understanding, brings the deeper meaning of the Quran to life, making it relevant and accessible for each generation.
It's like they're bridging the gap between the divine revelation and our human understanding.
Precisely. They're not just explaining the words, they're revealing the essence, the spirit, the heart of the Quran.
And that raises another question.
Okay.
If the Imam is the speaking Quran, does that mean that Tawal is constantly evolving? As the world changes, do the interpretations change as well?
That's a fascinating question. And while the article doesn't explicitly address it, right.
I think it's safe to say that Tawal is a living tradition.
Okay.
It's not static or fixed. It's a dynamic process of interpretation that adapts to the needs of the time.
So the Quran remains the constant, the unchanging word of Allah. But the way we understand it, the way we apply it to our lives, can evolve under the Imam's guidance.
Exactly. The Imam, as the speaking Quran, provides that crucial link, ensuring that the message remains relevant and meaningful for each generation.
Wow. That's pretty mind-blowing. It really opens up a whole new way of thinking about the Quran and the Imam's role in guiding our understanding.
It does.
So for anyone listening who might be new to these concepts, where would you suggest they start? What's the first step on this journey of seeking marifat?
Well, I would say the first step is simply to be open.
Okay.
To be curious, to have a sincere desire to learn, and then reach out. Connect with your community, engage with the teachings, ask questions. The resources are there for those who seek them. That's great advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions,
Yeah.
to explore, to delve deeper into your faith. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Absolutely. The community is there to support you, and the Imam's guidance is always available to those who seek it.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from the nature of Noor and Imamat to the concept of Tawil and the Imam as the speaking Quran.
It's amazing how much we can learn from just two sources, isn't it?
Right.
But this is really just the beginning.
Yeah.
There's so much more to explore, so much more to discover.
So to wrap up, it seems like the key message here is that faith is not passive. It's an active pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and connection. And the Imams, as the inheritors of Noor and the guides to Tawul, play a vital role in illuminating that path.
And for those willing to embark on this journey, the rewards are immense: a deeper understanding of the Quran, a closer relationship with Allah, and a more fulfilling spiritual life.
It's a journey worth taking. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.